So John, here we are on the Invergordon service base. So what does your job involve on the site from a health and safety point of view?
Yeah, so my job in health and safety, I cover health, safety, environment quality. I do a bit of security, and I'm also in place to support operations as required.
We're quite a small team, but we do lots of activities on the port. So on a day-to-day basis, what might be involved?
So HSEQ themselves, we're a small team, and we're very solutions focused, very motivated, and we'll go out and speak to all the other teams, so whether that be marine or on the shore, and we are basically there to have the conversations, ensure that processes are working as they should be.
So John, what's your priority day to day?
Our priority is to ensure that everybody goes home safely at the end of the day.
So we're obviously talking about the oil rig, so what kind of decisions do you get to make from a health and safety point of view? What impacts the oil rigs that come in, as an example?
Yeah, so pre-arrival, we'll have quite a lot of dialogue with an oil rig. So all the pre-arrival information, the mooring analysis, the safe navigation, we get a bit of input to that. Of course, we've got a huge input from the marine team. That's where the expertise lies, but they do come to us to ask us how we can support them, and then we have a lot of work going forward with the HSE team on board.
So it never ceases to amaze me the scale that we operate at, and there's such impressive bits of machinery. So health and safety must be really interesting working here and must be so important.
Absolutely. I think anything on this scale starts to represent the amount of care and attention we need to pay at not only a personal level but also at a systems-based level. We need to understand their environment, how that interfaces with the ports, what that means when it comes up along the quaysides, and what we can do for them. And it's a very good two-way conversation that we have with operators when they come in.
So John, what does net zero mean here at the port?
Net zero isn't so much about a target, it's more about driving efficiency. Net zero is an outcome. It's an outcome of deliberate efforts, ensuring our strategy is followed systematically. So it's probably more about driving efficiency and making sure that we reduce our emissions and looking at climate compatible operations. So anything we do, looking at the area where we can start to make good compromise or measurement to ensure that we're running cleaner.
So our customers are obviously asking for this, and it's about international obligations, isn't it? If people ask us what we're actively doing about net zero today, how could we answer that question?
So we've already started. We currently run electrical vehicles for our contractors. We encourage our staff to use them. We've got EV points for charging those, which has worked out really, really well so far. Alongside that, if you can't get an EV, then we do have bicycles also for use on the base.
So obviously we're just one company within a Green Freeport, so what are we doing collaboratively through the Green Freeport on net zero?
Yeah, so we are working very closely with the Green Freeports. They've set a net zero and sustainability charter which we've committed to, which identifies 8 key focus areas. That's been really useful to align our strategy with, so we're continuing to work on that.
Excellent. So Gavin, what does your job involve here at the port?
So as IT manager, I've got overall responsibility for everything from the keyboard on people's desks right up to the cloud services that the port consumes, and everything in between. So the software selection, the software licensing, PCs, servers, the network, the whole lot, and making sure that all that runs as safely and securely and efficiently as possible.
So what are the biggest challenges?
Cybersecurity and resilience are the 2 big things at the moment. Cybersecurity is not a new concern. Anybody who's worked in a business environment in the last 30 years knows or should know the importance of secure computing. But I think the threat profile is definitely changing. Cyber criminal gangs are getting more organised. There's use of AI in cyber attacks. Cyber criminal gangs that run more like businesses, with an eye on efficiency and profits in the same way that an ordinary business would. And there's also, we understand from agencies like the National Cybersecurity Centre at GCHQ, that there is an increasing overlap between criminal gangs and hostile nation-state actors.
So you mentioned that our staff are the first line of defence. So what are we doing to make sure that they have the right awareness and they know what to look for?
The main message that we try to get through to colleagues is that IT isn't the saviour. IT isn't going to protect you from everything, and the front line of defence is actually everybody in the company sitting at their desks, being constantly vigilant and making sure that they're defending us as best they can.
So we've talked about AI. What other new technologies are we looking at?
I guess the two big things over the last year, we're just approaching the first anniversary of bringing aerial drones into the business. And I think that's had a really positive impact. We've trained up 8 drone pilots to GVC level, so they operate under license from the Civil Aviation Authority. And we've got a burgeoning portfolio of use cases, I guess, from maintenance inspections of like roofs and lighting columns, to overflights to look for surface defects, through to supporting our security operation.
So what's your biggest challenge for IT for 2025?
Our biggest challenge is that we're replacing a lot of core systems with a single system, which is going to mean quite a lot of extra work to start with, but hopefully all that's going to pay off, because it'll give us a base for smarter working at the port for the next decade and hopefully beyond.
What is the best thing about your job?
I grew up in a seaside town watching ships go into a port, and throughout my life I've made a point of never living too far from the coast. To be working even adjacent to the maritime industry and seeing these amazing feats of engineering coming in and out every day is just a treat.